What's up, guys? I don't know why I'm lagging again. What's going on here? Hey, this is gonna be a quick update. Sorry, I'm a little sweaty. I just went for a run. I wanted to talk about some big news that just broke this morning. It looks like there is potentially a trade deal done with China. Now, there's been some conflicting reports, frankly. First, Besson came out and said it's been constructive 2 days of negotiations. Then Greer came out and essentially said we weren't as far apart as some people may have thought, and that we're confident that we struck a deal. But let's see. And then the White House website essentially said that there's a deal that can be announced, and other reports as well saying that a deal has been struck. Now, just recently, in the last like 30 minutes, uh, they said that the both sides agreed to establish a U.S. and China trade consultation mechanism. So very interesting. Balls deep capital down here saying, Jesus Christ, can you tell us there's actually a deal? I agree. We don't know. And then shortly after that, they said that any deal will be in China's development interests. So again, very unclear if there's actually a deal done here. It sounds to me, and I thought this is a really good take from this guy Spencer. He seems to be pretty middle of the road. I appreciate that. Doesn't really take a hard stance one way or the other politically. But he called us back to the first time, back in Trump's first presidency, when we had negotiations going on with China. And, it happened in phases. It didn't happen overnight, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of what we see here, is that we have some details emerge. In the last case, it was phase one. They worked on rooting out intellectual property theft, that sort of thing. So we'll see what details emerge for sure tomorrow. One of the things I want to call out, though, that I thought was really interesting, and this is unverified to this point, but I've seen it in several different places, suggested that they continue to push Besson on the strategic Bitcoin reserve strategy, and whether the rumors that we would be selling gold to fund Bitcoin purchases were true. It sounds like Besson avoided that question if this happened. Okay, we don't know if this is actually true or not, but if it is true, I find it very interesting, because China has been buying a ton of gold recently, y'all. Like, they have been, if you look at their purchases over the last few years, and countries around the world have been buying up a lot of gold. China's also a very large Bitcoin holder. So if this is true, we'll have to see if this is verified or not. But that said, Bitcoin has not really moved, okay? And this is also very interesting to me. I think this tells us a couple things. For one, the markets have baked in that there's going to be some sort of positive resolution out of these negotiations this weekend. The other part is, I think there's been so much whiplash that I think people want to see what the details are. So we'll find out very quickly tomorrow, as details emerge, really what the market has been baking in. If they put a pause on the tariffs altogether, or let's say they do a 50%, they drop it to 50%, whether or not that news is looked at positively or not will tell us very quickly what the market's been expecting. But we'll find that out tomorrow, most likely. One other thing, though, is Bitcoin dominance is dropping. This is very good for alt season. So if we do have a prolonged rally, this is something we have not seen in some time. Okay, so seeing alts gain some momentum as Bitcoin's price has gone up as well. So we are seeing liquidity move into alts. So that's really good news. The big question, of course, is will this be a prolonged rally? Will the markets react positively once all of the details emerge? It also sounds like we could see more trade deals announced this coming week. So that would be good news. Obviously, we need to see more positive developments there. It does seem like there's more reports coming out today that Putin and Ukraine are likely to be meeting in Istanbul this next week. I find it really interesting that this really coincided with the China negotiations. So, China and Russia have been really chummy recently in meeting, Xi and Putin. I find it very interesting that, as we're seeing positive developments with the China negotiations, Putin all of a sudden comes out and it's like, yeah, I'm ready to negotiate a ceasefire. I don't know if there's any correlation there or not. The timing seems kind of odd to me, though. This is super interesting. This just was dropped within the last hour. Trump said that his next post on Truth Social will be one of the most important and impactful he has ever made. So what will that be? Will that be something with the China deal? Will that be something with Ukraine, Russia, or will it be something different altogether? He hinted at this last week that there is going to be a huge announcement that he makes. So that is something to keep an eye on. Again, this just broke in the last hour or so. Getting into some more crypto news. And by the way, I'm going to be stopping at the top of the hour. Julie is hopping on a live stream in Philadelphia. So I'm going to be hopping over there. Highly encourage everyone to do so. If you don't follow Julie, make sure to do so. But she's having like a virtual party. Or sorry, I guess that was a prior video, but she does have a live stream coming up. I know that. Yeah, there you go. Live stream in Philadelphia. Sounds like there's some other crypto people there. So highly encourage everyone to hop over there at the top of the hour here in like 10 minutes. But it sounds like Tesla may start to accept Bitcoin purchases again. There's some rumors about this. If you remember, this was like in last bull run, they opened up purchases with Bitcoin, and then there was a lot of backlash as far as how green Bitcoin mining was. And I think Elon came out and was like, yeah, once 50 or 60%, I forget what the percentage is, once a certain percentage is done with renewables, I will start to open up purchases again with Bitcoin. Now, I don't know if we've hit that threshold or not, but there are rumors that will be coming back. There's more rumors that Michael Saylor has been buying more Bitcoin. Wouldn't surprise me. That's what he does. That's what he does. Let's see here. Oh, okay. This is what I'm going to leave you guys with before I hop off here. This is definitely worth keeping an eye on, y'all. Japan's 40-year bond yield just jumped to its highest level in 2 decades. So why does that matter? Well, there's something called the Japan carry trade. And if you remember last August when the stock market and the crypto markets tanked, a lot of that was due to this Japan carry trade. So Japan has kept their rates artificially low, or I guess they push their rates low on purpose. The Bank of Japan has purchased their treasuries to keep the demand up and push their yields lower. What this has enabled people to do is essentially take out loans over in Japan at very low interest, move it into other currencies like US dollars, for example. And then they'll take those funds that they've financed very, very with very cheap money, very low interest rates, and they invest it in real estate. They invested in our stock market and crypto. Okay. What happened though last August is what we could see here, and this is definitely a concern. That arbitrage works only as long as Japan can keep their rates low. Okay. Because if the yen starts to gain strength against the dollar, all of a sudden it breaks up that arbitrage. You think about it, if you're taking a loan out over there, and you move it in US dollars, you have to still pay that loan back. You have to move that currency back into the yen. If all of a sudden the yen starts to gain strength against the US dollar, what you saw last August is people started to freak out and they started to sell off all their stock. And that's why we saw a crash in the markets, because people were having to cover their bases over in Japan. So this is something that we definitely need to keep an eye on. They've been really focused on keeping their 10-year down, but this 40-year could start attracting people back into the yen. If the yen starts to gain strength against the US dollar, that would certainly could further unwind the Japan carry trade. There are people that, it lasted all of two days, I think last August, and then Japan decided, hey, we're going to keep rates low. There are people that, think that the people that had been taking advantage of that closed out that trade. I don't believe it. That people have been using that for a decade. People have owned real estate. There's no way in hell that in last August, in 2 days, everyone basically deleveraged from that carry trade. So, we need to keep an eye on the yields on Japan's bond market. Hopefully those yields stay low, because this is something that could rain on our parade a bit if that starts to unwind again. So just wanted to cover that. Y'all, again, 5 minutes from now, Julie is going live. So make sure to hop over there. Appreciate you all, and I will be back tomorrow. All right. Peace.